Warning: this podcast features adult subject matter, adult language, and things not meant for children to hear. Viewer discretion is advised. You've been warned. Nope. Now we could be. Now we might be. Perhaps. It seems. Monitor showing yes. It looks like we're agreeing. We are live, ladies and gentlemen, here on the I'm No Joe YouTube channel. Holy shit, has it been one hell of a week around here. I hope everybody out there is doing well, holding it down during these craziest of times that we are living in right now. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the newest conglomerate episode. This is really kind of a mishmash, mashup, porridge of episodes, so to speak. We didn't get a chance to do a What Did I Say show last weekend for the recap of the Apex events. Did not get a chance to do this week's Thursday night I'm No Joe podcast, so we are going to kind of wrap those up all into one. And I do want to say up front, there has been some interesting news come out yesterday and today in the MMA world. We are now going to talk about that. Those things are fairly significant, so we're going to save those for this upcoming week's full I'm No Joe YouTube podcast on Thursday. That will be going back down to normal. Whether or not we get a full What Did I Say show tomorrow or not, or we will wait until the regular I'm No Joe podcast and just throw that in, will still be determined. Things are kind of still a little crazy right now, so I do apologize for that, but we are still here. We are still doing the damn thing. I'm going to try and get this through as quickly as I can. We have an hour and 15 minutes until the prelims are set to start on this UFC event. I can promise you two things. One, this show will be more entertaining than the UFC event itself. And two, from here until the end of Fight Island, events are going to be getting better every week. That's not to say there's not going to still be fluff or filler fights or kind of some meh thing as well, but as of right now, we've only got confirmed events to look forward to right now until the end of Fight Island, which I have to say is a little more disappointing than we all kind of thought it was going to be, and I will give credit where credit is due here. Dana did come out and say right away that the fans and the media had made Fight Island into more than the UFC did. It kind of took on its own personality, its own life, and became this giant grandiose idea of the fans and the journalists more than it was something the UFC was talking about or building up. And they kind of let us run away with this Caribbean Pirates of the Caribbean-esque, like, Bahamian, blue water, white sand island in the middle of nowhere with palm trees and, a big octagon on the beach with the fucking skull throne and your soul is mine, all that whole shit. We all ran away with it. Turns out, quote unquote, Fight Island is Yas Island in Abu Dhabi, the same place that we have seen fights in Abu Dhabi 3 other times before. But the last time the UFC was over there, they had built that special stadium just for that event, and then when that event was over, they took that whole fucking stadium, the $17 million, whatever it was, giant stadium that they built just for that Khabib versus Poirier fight. They took that whole fucking stadium down again. That whole thing's gone. It's not there anymore. And in giving them this to go back and do, they gave them what they're calling the 10-mile safe zone. They literally cleared a 10-mile radius around where the fights and everything are taking place and the fighters are staying in Abu Dhabi to make this happen. So, yeah, there is that. So before we get into that, let's jump back a little bit to last weekend's UFC event. Quick little recap rundown. Uno momento. Eve, calm down. We'll get through this. So, going back to last weekend's UFC event, the Ian Hamish versus Gerald Meerschaert fight was originally on. Then there was a positive Backstreet Boys test, so the fight was off. Then the fight got put back on because it turns out that the Backstreet Boys test that showed that he was positive was a false positive. They had a secondary test done, confirmed negative. Then the following tests all turned out negative as well, confirmed. So the fight was officially back on. Ended up happening. Obviously, we'll talk about that in just a minute. As far as the event itself goes, the very first thing they kicked off last weekend's UFC event with was a Burns Brothers domination. Herbert was in the ring. Gilbert was cage side, cheering his brother on. Just absolute proof that the Burns brothers are here to make a statement in the UFC, and they're both more than capable of doing so. The next thing I want to talk about real quick, Alonzo Metafield just absolutely fucking wilted. What are you gonna say? I almost wish that we could have talked about that while Fresh was here, because I'm pretty sure he was super hyped on Metafield over Clark. What are you gonna do? Alex Perez, fucking mad props to that kid with some vicious calf kicks. The 11th leg kick TKO in UFC history. The first time there have been 2 back-to-back events with a leg kick TKO, because we did get one the week before as well. Fucking props to Perez. That was nasty fucking leg kicks. Cody Stamen was absolutely fucking dominant from start to finish of his match, despite us finding out that he had lost his 18-year-old brother just a few days before the event, and still held his composure, and came out and just fucking ran the table. Mad fucking props to him. Gerald Meerschaert versus Ian Hamish. Meerschaert came out and looked spectacular, and then Ian Hamish landed that shot that just ends the fucking show immediately. I will say props on the shot, but Jesus titty fucking Christ, stop telling your fucking drug story, your got you fucking locked up in prison time story every time you get a post-fight interview. It's old, and it's not nearly what you're making it out to be. The information is out there, Ian. We know the story clearly. You're becoming Bert Kreischer with your fucking machine story already. We know how it goes, buddy. Move on. So, I will say, I was absolutely surprised. Chase Hooper versus Alex Caceres did not go how I thought it was going to go by any stretch of the imagination. Chase Hooper actually did not use any of his lankiness to his advantage. He didn't use any of his grappling. He didn't use any of his wrestling, really. He tried to stand and bang with Alex Caceres, who was just more experienced and had a better fight IQ in the moment, better engagement, better game planning, and just really outpointed Chase Hooper all the way along. It wasn't terribly impressive. Chase Hooper just could not stick to what we say it all the time, stick with what got you to the dance. And when you don't, it's very evident because they will tend to match you up based on what you are predominantly known for or good at. And when you go into a fight and that's what they expect to see you do against this person whose style they've matched against, and then you don't do that, you are generally the one who looks bad more often than not. That's what we saw here. Chase Hooper really looked not like himself. Not that Caceres looked great, but he looked better in the moment. I think is a good way to put that. Then, more of the bantamweights on showcase for that particular card. I say it all the time, despite how I feel about a fighter, I try to give credit where credit is due. Sugar Sean O'Malley landed a beautifully timed and placed punch and absolutely shut that match down. That being said, Eddie Wineland did not come out looking like the title challenger we had seen him in the past. He came out looking very stiff, very rusty, very soup can-esque, and got fucking caught slipping and put down. Props to Sugar Sean. I don't think it's anything really worth bragging about, but he did, and he went on and bragged anyway, so there's that fucking guy. Neil Magny came out looking like an absolute stud, just outmaneuvering every chance he fucking got. Props the fuck to him. That man is back. Seems like he is on a mission to get back to where he felt that he should have been originally before all this shit happened. Performance like that is definitely going to get you there. That will bring us to my fucking upset of the card or that particular evening. Again, despite how I feel about a person or a fighter, I try to give credit where credit is due. I was and still am a very big proponent for Corey Sandhagen. I feel that that dude is legitimately probably the number 2 contender in that division. But he got caught. Aljo fucking flat out caught him. His jiu-jitsu was smoother. His fucking transition was slick. And he fucking got him. And he caught Corey. And he fucking got him. Credit where credit is due. I still don't fucking like Aljamain. And I don't think he's that great of a fucking fighter. But goddamn if he did not catch Corey Sandhagen, fucking slip him. And got him. He fucking got him. So now Dana says that Aljamain gets the next title shot after Jan versus Aldo. So there's that. But wait, there's more. There's so much more. Main event. Literally 4 minutes, I think it was 4 minutes, 51 seconds left in the fight. Might have been 4:57. It wasn't quite Zombie versus Fuckboy late in the fight, but it was pretty damn close to it. Cody Garbrandt, in what seemed like a decision waiting to be handed down, saw an opportunity in Asunciao striking, and like Mike Tyson's punch out, star button strike, leaned down, hands at his fucking hips, turned, came up with a fucking Cody Garbrandt-esque power shot and landed it Right on the money. Shut fucking Rafael Asunciao completely off. Um, Very reminiscent, not identical, not representative of, but reminiscent to the Cody Garbrandt that we saw in that Dominic Cruz match. He was way sloppier. He was way more gun shy. He did throw a lot of feints like he did in the Cruz match, but he was definitely hesitant to pull the trigger, and he definitely was a little bit shy to engage when Asunciao was able to counter and get a good shot in on that chin, and he got a good couple shots in on that fucking chin. But goddamn if he didn't shut Asunciao down right before the fucking bell. Weird thing about that card, come to find out, they decided in the back there would be no fight of the night. Instead, they were going to give 4 performance of the night bonuses. So O'Malley, Sterling, Garbrandt, and Perez for the stoppages. Kind of weird that there was no fight, but I understand, and they still gave 4 $50,000 bonuses away, so there was that. Weird, but we've seen weirder things happen. Now, then we will jump in real quick here to the medical suspensions from UFC 250 this last weekend. Magny and Stamen. Oh, excuse me. It's not the 250 medical suspensions. It's the fight now. I'm sorry. I confused myself for a second with bad notes. Medical suspensions from that card. Neil Magny, Cody Stamen. See, I'm getting all worked up here. Let's woos off for a second. Take it back down. Normally I've got cohorts to bounce other thoughts off of that help me slow the pace of the show a little bit in this situation, but due to the craziness of life right now, I'm flying the solo, so let's just... So the medical suspensions from the card we just talked about here, not 250. Bad notes, I apologize. Neil Magny and Cody Stamen are both out until July 7th. A little over a month. Not a bad medical suspension at all. Jussier Formiga and Gerald Mearshart out until July 22nd. Not bad at all there. Rafael Asunciao and Eddie Wineland both out until August 6th. 2 months. 7 weeks, I think. Not bad at all. Suspended until December 4th or cleared by a doctor. That's why there was 250 notes in there. It's because Amanda and Felicia were both in there as well. That's, haha, it makes sense again. Herbert Burns has to have his foot sutures cleared because he did split his foot open in that match. Leg, foot, shinish area. Has to have those cleared. And then he can be released to contact again as early as July 7th. Not bad. Not bad overall. We've seen way worse. We've seen way stranger. Drink to parch. Vape to breathe. Okay. So, this will bring us into what would have been the I'm No Joe episode for this particular weekend. So we will dive here into some news and recent events. Like I said earlier, save for things that have been released today being Friday, news other than this weekend's card, and yesterday being Thursday, the original I'm No Joe day. Thursday evening, there was a giant dump of information. That stuff, you will have to wait until next week's, this coming Thursday's full I'm No Joe podcast back on schedule. Everything should be back to normal there. The big announcement that would have been on last weekend's What Did I Say show. Hopefully we'll be able to announce on Thursday, so long as everything goes back to normal and we're on that normal scheduled Thursday. So, first thing we got, July 25th, which was not a previously discussed date for Fight Island. They are now saying is another Fight Island card, which will be headlined by Fabricio Verdum, welcoming not only out of retirement, but moving up to the heavyweight division, one Alexander Gustafsson. That, just Verdum versus Gustafsson moving to heavyweight, has all sorts of crazy implications unto itself. The fact that they are essentially adding an extra Fight Island card makes it that much more interesting. And speaking of Fight Island, we did get confirmation that there is a July 11th card, which we will talk about in a little bit because there's some announcements. Then there is a July 15th card on that Wednesday, and then a July 18th card on that Saturday, and then now the July 25th card the following Saturday. We have not gotten a July 21st card announcement just yet for that secondary Wednesday, but we do have a July 15th announcement with a card, the whole kit and caboodle. So we will be doing a Combat Compatriot Show number 2 live that Wednesday. We will aim again to start during the early prelims because it will be, just the regular prelims because the July 11th card is UFC 251. The July 15th card is going to be the Yas Island / Abu Dhabi / Fight Island first fight night of many to come after that, apparently. But we will be doing a live commentary here on the I'm No Joe YouTube channel, possibly do a live stream to the other channels of the folks who tend to hang out here. We will find out a little bit more about that the closer we get to that particular date, but I did want to give you that heads up. We did find out not Fight Island, but just date announcement. August 1st, there will be a UFC event. As of right now, they're aiming to have it headlined by Derek Brunson versus Edmund Shabazian, which is an interesting matchup, and I think pretty fairly paced. The other announcement for the August 1st card, potentially main and co-main, depending on how they end up stacking it out, Irene Aldana versus Holly Holm, which will be interesting because we all know Holly Holm is always one win away from another title shot, so we'll have to see how that goes. They have also announced that they are intending to put on events every single weekend all year long if they are able to, them being Dana. So they have announced officially there is a card, not this weekend, not next weekend, but the following, June 27th. They are looking to be headlined by the matchup of Mickey Gall versus Mike Perry. We will be definitely talking about that one a lot more. I know that's got Nick Devine all kinds of excited. He doesn't know who to root for or who to get a tattoo of. It's crazy over on Nick Devine's channel. Anytime he goes live and he thinks about it, it's good times. You guys should check that out as well. We did also get an official confirmation. August 15th will be UFC 252, location TBD, because Dana says they're waiting to see what will be open by then. If nothing else, they will do it at the Apex in Vegas, but they're hoping to have it somewhere else. UFC 252 will be headlined by the trilogy DC versus Stipe 3, DC's final match, allegedly. So at least we have a date for that. Officially speaking, they said there was 4 events on Fight Island. July 11th, July 15th, July 18th, and then July 25th. We don't know if that's just for official or if that's for total, and they are going to slide in that extra 21st secondary Wednesday date. As many cards and fights as they're trying to put together in the meanwhile, it is a legitimate possibility. We just don't know yet. We will have to see. But what we do know is that the July 11th, the opening event for Fight Island, is officially going to be UFC 251, and it will be a triple belt event. It will be Kamaru Usman versus Gilbert Burns for the welterweight belt. It will be Max Holloway versus Alexander Volkanovski for the featherweight belt. Great rematch. And then it will be Piotr Jan versus Jose Aldo Jr. for the bantamweight belt, which is still fucking ridiculous to say, but it's happening, so we're just going to have to take it for what it is and make fun of it as much as we can between now and then, which I promise you will be quite a bit once we get the gang all back together. Triple belt event to open. It's gonna be interesting. Now that we know it's in Abu Dhabi and it's going to be in some type of a giant tent or arena with air conditioning, and the octagon in the sand isn't going to be the octagon in the sand and that Pirates of the Caribbean thing that we all kind of wanted it to be. It's going to be much like I'm betting, I think it was 229, Khabib versus Poirier. 229, 239, I don't remember now. The last time they were in Abu Dhabi, I, for one, am very let down that Fight Island is in fucking Abu Dhabi. I wanted a Caribbean island, even somewhere over off like Somalia, Madagascar, and, South Africa. Somewhere cool. Abu Dhabi just isn't a cool place for Fight Island. Yas Island isn't a fight island. It's the same place we've got a 5-fight contract with Abu Dhabi to already put on events, so that doesn't make it special. It's not Fight Island. It's fucking Yas Island in Abu Dhabi, the same place we've already had 3 other UFC events and will have 5 more, aside from these events on quote-unquote Fight Island. I'm just disappointed. I'm letting you know you're going to hear that a lot between now and then. But, that being said, this weekend we got short notice addition to the card, Hannah Cyphers versus Mariah Agapova, a newbie making her debut. Hannah Cyphers is moving up to the 125-pound division from 115, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Next weekend's card, the June 20th card, we got a late edition Roosevelt Roberts making a quick turnaround, coming in against veteran Jim Miller. So we know our favorite casual is going to be excited about that one. The hardcore fellas and myself are definitely going to have something to say about that next weekend. I am sure of it. Another quick turnaround, Ian Hamish, who just fought last weekend, will be turning back around and fighting in 2 weeks on the June 27th card before we move to Fight Island against Brandon Allen. I think that is actually a pretty good matchup. Also on that June 27th card, late edition, Kama Worthy stepping in to fight Luis Violent Bob Ross Pena. That, I think, as well will be a very interesting matchup. Now, another late addition to next week's June 20th card, Clay Guida versus Bobby Green. That's going to be fucking spectacular. July 18th, third Fight Island card. Not the opener on the 11th or the 15th Wednesday show. The second Saturday Fight Island card. They are saying probably co-main event as of right now, depending on how it shakes out between now and then. Possibly main event. Carlos Felipe versus Sergey Spivak, which will be a great fucking matchup to watch. That being said, that will bring us into the meat and potatoes segment of this particular episode here, into the kind of namesake reason for the season of this particular episode, the UFC Fight Night Apex 2, I think it is. Fight Night on ESPN plus 9, I believe, partially. I versus Calvillo. This card is shit, guys. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This whole card is shit. There are some interesting fights on it, but overall, it's a rough one. It's a rough one to get excited about. So let me take a drink real quick. Delicious homemade coffee milkshake. It's fucking amazing, by the way. Let me take a vape real quick. Alright, so looking right into it, the prelims for this weekend are meh at best. Let me pull the card up real fast here. I apologize in advance. See if I can get this pulled up and find the actual card real quick. The one that I know I want to talk about for sure, Jordan Espinosa versus Mark De La Rosa. We know Jordan Espinosa is a fucking badass wrestler. We know what Mark De La Rosa is capable of in terms of the black belt in jiu-jitsu department will get him, but has he worked on his hands since the last time we saw him? That's going to be the big question. I'm hoping he has. Otherwise, this is Jordan Espinosa's fight to lose. But if he has worked on his hands, this is Mark De La Rosa's fight. No question about it. Let's see. Fight Night 172. No. What are they calling this? It was supposed to be originally UFC Fight Night in Saskatoon. It is now in the Apex. So it is technically still kind of UFC Fight Night 172, I guess. Let's see. Oh, yeah. The other fight that I was going to talk about, Jordan Griffin versus Derek Minor, is canceled. Tyson Nam's opponent, the gentleman stepped in on his short notice debut, Zaruk Adashev. Zaruk Adashev. That's a hell of a name. Missed weight. Came in at 138.5. Not a good fucking start. Jessica I missed weight. 126.5. Carl Robertson missed weight again for his fight against Marvin Vettori. Came in at 190.5 this time. 189.5 last time. So, fuck Carl Robertson. It's real hard to get excited for that fucking guy. I think Tyson Nam is just going to have his way with the rookie making this debut. I really do. Let's see. Marab. I worked on this. Dvalishvili, I think is how he says. Marab Dvalishvili, I believe is how he says his name. It's Matt Serra's fucking guy from their gym. They're all super excited about that guy. Another last minute opponent swap. against Gustavo Lopez, the gentleman making his debut. It's going to be interesting to see how that short notice camp takes him, how the change of an opponent and his just second UFC appearance works for Merab. I still think Merab's going to get it done. The other interesting one I do want to talk about real quick is... Hang on here. I apologize. I'm trying to get this pulled up on my phone. Here we go. Andre Fili versus Charles Jourdain. Andre Fili has been doing a lot of talking and not a whole lot of action, and it's kind of been the opposite from Charles Jourdain. He's kind of one of those, they call him nerd assassins. He's real quiet. He doesn't talk a lot of shit. He doesn't do a lot of social media hype, but when he gets in the octagon, he does a lot of work, and that speaks fucking volumes to me. I think it's Charles Jourdain's fight to lose, but Fili has been known to land some crazy fucking shots out of nowhere. So he's always got, as we say, that puncher's chance. We'll see how that works out for him, though. Quick turnaround again. Charles Rosa, who just got the fuck beat out of him by Bryce Mitchell, is back against Kevin Aguilar. That will be an interesting match to see how it shakes loose as well. Bringing us right into the sloppy, larger than needs to be pile of lukewarm on the outside but steaming hot on the inside mashed potatoes with a slab of cold butter stuck to the side of it. That is the co-main event of the evening. Marvin the shit talker Vittori versus Carl I can't fucking make weight Robertson. I'm glad that this is the co-main and not the main event, because that would be infuriating if someone missed weight for the main event. Oh wait, we'll get there in a minute too. Fuck this card. Have I mentioned this whole card tonight is going to kind of suck a little bit? It's going to kind of suck a little bit. But assuming coming in overweight is going to give Robertson the advantage that it generally would in this situation, I think that this is still his fight to lose. If he came in that far overweight again because he just is having that much trouble getting down to 185, then Vittori is going to clean him out. There's not anything more I want to go into about that. They're both fucking bad examples of sportsmen and the middleweight division. That being said, that is going to bring us to the microwaved, sloppily cut, still grizzled imitation filet mignon. That is the main event of the fucking evening. God damn it, this is fucking sad. Jessica fucking I versus Cynthia Calvillo. And as if you didn't catch on to the irony with which I precluded a moment ago, Jessica fucking I missed weight for the fucking main event after talking all kinds of Jessica I caliber shit to the press all fucking week long, including talking shit directly to fans who have made it very publicly clear they, and I included, were not happy when they announced that this fight would be the fucking main event for this evening's card. That being said, Jessica I is a soup can, and I don't believe she deserved her shot against Valentina. I think she was just someone who hadn't been fed through that meat grinder yet and has not done anything since then to show that she deserves any kind of mention or recognition, in my opinion. That being said, Cynthia Calvillo is beyond fucking lackluster, and the last time we saw her, she put on a mediocre at best performance in the UFC octagon, and then immediately went over to the Submission Underground octagon, where she talked even more shit than she did for the UFC event, and got her ass promptly handed to her in 17 fucking seconds by Danielle Kelly, an atom weight. A Michelle Watterson-esque little tiny Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu girl, whereas Calvillo was coming into that match around 135 to 140 pounds with what should have been a 30 to 35 pound advantage at the least, and got because she talks shit but can't back it up. That being said, against a soup can of Jessica I's caliber, I still think Cynthia will be able to get it done. It's not going to be pretty, it's not going to be very entertaining, but as they say in the world of MMA, it is what it is. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is all that I've got for you on this particular episode, and still managed to get you out of here in time to go bleach your brain before the actual prelims start for tonight's promisingly disappointing event. Thank you all for tuning in. I do want to take a moment to say, if, understandably, the Instagram influencer level faces are too distracting for you on the I'm No Joe podcast, fret not. You can catch the all audio episodes available on your podcast consuming platform of choice, available through anchor.fm/I'm No Joe. We are on Spotify, Google Play, we are on Apple Podcasts, we are all over the fucking place. We are on social media just about everywhere at I'm No Joe, Facebook, Instagram, obviously YouTube, I'm No Joe. We play video games once in a while over on mixer.com/I'm No Joe. If you want to support the channel, patreon.com/I'm No Joe. Only patrons get access to the behind the scenes shit, the unaired and some would say unairable versions and kit and caboodles of things that have happened and happen on the I'm No Joe channel. We've got a lot coming up, folks. We have got changes in the works. We've got new content coming. We've got possibly new creators coming to the channel to be bringing some content as well. We've got some new programming coming up. We've got so much in the works right now. Thank you to everyone who is watching and or listening to this, whether you are here with us live now or you are catching this on a replay or you are catching this over through Anchor in audio form after the fact. Thank you to everyone who either even just comes out and gives us the support of being here and listening. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you enjoyed the show, give us a thumbs up. If I provided you with some entertainment for the time that I have had you here, almost an hour, subscribe. We do this pretty much every week, at least once a week or so. More of that coming soon. If I gave you some point of views, if I brought you the news you just didn't think you were going to get without the I'm No Joe show, share an episode, any episode, I don't care which. We're trying to grow this damn thing. On the other side of that coin, if I'm just some dumbass rambling into a camera with dumbass friends who ramble into a camera and we don't know what the fuck we're talking about, go and give me that thumbs down because we earned it and we won't dispute that. But that being said, I am going to call that all for now. So remember, don't let ignorance stop you. You can root for anything. Unless you think that justice just comes because you asked for it. Sometimes you have to demand justice. Take care of yourself and each other. Wash your hands. We'll get through this.